Social justice is caring about various issues in society, which makes it more egalitarian.
Research into social justice is really fundamental to the values that we have here at Lancaster.
As a university, we should be impacting society in a positive manner.
I think it's important for business schools to look into social justice research because there's a natural relationship between business and social aspects.
People are so fundamental to everything that we achieve, to everything that we are concerned with within Lancaster. So making sure that social justice is really at the heart of what we're doing and what we're teaching others really matters to us.
We should have the head for business but a passion for the world, because businesses only thrive when communities thrive.
In the management school, social justice is a really important theme, and I think it runs through all of the work that we do. We're very keen that there isn't inequality in the opportunities that people have to work. So for instance, under this theme, we would be looking potentially at gender inequalities in business, or how to overcome underrepresentation within businesses and organisations.
I think it's important for LUMS, or for Lancaster University Management School, to engage with social justice, because I think it's a bit of a fallacy that business and social justice don't go hand in hand. Everybody seems to think that businesses are just about bottom lines and capitalism, and that is true to a degree, but at LUMS we are very critical. There's a number of scholars in the management school who are critical of capitalism and of business practices, and I think the reflexivity and criticality that we can bring and share with our students but also with businesses through our research can be a real way of transforming business practice for social good, and not tokenistic good, but actually real transformative good and improvement that will see business practice become more inclusive and better for society.
In LUMS, we do a lot of research in the area of social justice, which is about ensuring that everyone in society has equal access to marketplaces and business contexts. We approach this topic in multiple ways, and we try to understand a range of issues, including gambling, marketplace access, and modern-day slavery.
Management schools have an integral role to play in social justice. It isn't enough for us simply to teach our students patterns of consumption and production. All that results in is more of the same. And I think anyone with an awareness of what's going on with the climate, what's going on with the economy, knows that that doesn't actually result in a just society. Businesses, the study of management leads, I think, on the development of a just society. So it's incumbent on a management school to play a role in that.
My work speaks to two major issues on modern slavery reporting in the UK. First, there is a kind of a serious compliance issues here, with most companies not really complying with the reporting requirements, and even many companies not even complying with the basic reporting requirements. Second, the lack of comprehensive guidance, and this creates two major issues. First, it's difficult to benchmark companies reporting against each other, but also it's difficult to train companies reporting over time, because companies have complete liberty on how they report on these issues.
My research focuses on economics of inequality, and that means that I'm focusing on the distributional consequences of economic and social factors, with an emphasis on wealth inequality within and between groups defined by social class, occupation, education, or even countries. To name some topics, I examine how income dynamics, economic policies, or external shocks like pandemics, for example, affect wealth and income across the population.
I conduct research on refugees with a focus on how we can deliver services a bit differently. So we know that this has become a long-term problem. A lot of people who get displaced are likely never to go back home. And so we need to think about how we can provide services that allow them to have a normal life. This research is important because it's about humanity. It's about more than 140 million people whose lives have been turned upside down. I started the journey on this research as a practitioner. I worked for Doctors Without Borders in the field in my home country in Zimbabwe. And I had initially focused on short-term disasters, which is what a lot of people in the field do. But then I started to realize that the refugee situation is one that is more important and more difficult because of the long-term implications that it has for people and the short-term focus that we tend to take in humanitarian operations.
What I'm interested in is the prevent agenda, which basically is interested in how do people, get caught in this trap and become vulnerable to exploitation. How can we think about those at the periphery who are vulnerable and how those vulnerabilities are interconnected, how one vulnerability links to the other and then they become more susceptible to being exploited. So that's the particular aspect I'm interested in because that continues to happen.
My research into disability access fits with social justice in quite a clear way. It's about promoting business practices and marketplaces that are inclusive to all, but in particular to persons with disabilities, and how we can make them friendlier, more welcome and more inclusive to different types of disability.
So through the Marketplace and we've engaged with people with disabilities in various ways. Firstly, people with disabilities have actually visited our exhibitions and seen the artworks themselves and seen other people's experiences of disabilities. Secondly, we've engaged businesses in accessibility training around disability. So various organisations that we've worked with either have people who have visual or hidden disabilities, or indeed people who know someone with a disability. So we've helped organisations to improve their accessibility plans, their accessibility manifestos, and how they actually create initiatives which are bespoke towards disability-led audiences.
Environmental justice is about treating people fairly, regardless of their income, gender, race, or ethnic background, and meaningfully involved in all these people as well in sustainable development and implementing environmental policies and working towards social justice in this way.
So the reason we need to know about problem gambling is because it has impacts far beyond the gambler. The government figures suggest there are 350,000 problem gamblers, but we also know that for each problem gambler, probably between 6 to 8 other people are impacted. That's family, friends, employers, the wider community. The reason that we have sort of gambling research situated within marketing, which might seem a little bit bizarre, is because actually gambling is a legal form of consumption, just as alcohol and tobacco are. It's problematic, but it's legal. But we don't really understand too much about the socio-cultural drivers of that type of consumption. We've got a good understanding of the psychological drivers, but not what other factors impact it. And really understanding how these harms develop is important for society, it's important actually for our communities, it's important for government. So that's why we need to do the work.
Our health program, through collaboration with professors such as Professor Stavroula Leka, aims to understand the link between health and work. Our Insecure Work program has been quite successful in scaling the job insecurity across our labor market. Achieving a healthier workforce is essential for sustainable growth and a thriving society. With our work, we provide essential tools for policymakers, employers, and worker groups to achieve a healthier and more sustainable workforce. Addressing social justice is key to achieve a fairer society that works for everyone, not just a selected few. We believe that achieving a greater access to good quality work will ensure that the businesses are more sustainable, as well as workers have greater rights in accessing good work practices across the country.
Research into social justice is really fundamental to the values that we have here at Lancaster and the ways in which we try to disseminate those values through both our research and teaching. People are so fundamental to everything that we achieve, to everything that we are concerned with within Lancaster. So making sure that social justice is really at the heart of what we're doing and what we're teaching others really matters to us.